चेक करूँगा। हरे कृष्ण। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। नाम संकीर्तन की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for today morning Bhagavatam class. I happen to be accidentally sitting here. Prabhuji should have been sitting here. It's a punishment, kind of. I got to prepare something. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 16, chapter entitled The Passing Away of Bhishma Dev. We'll recite the verse. Nahi yasya kachit rajan puman veda viditsitam yad vijigyasaya yukta muhyanti kavayo apihi nahi asya karhichit rajan पुमान् वेदविदित्सितम् यद्विजिज्ञासया युक्ता मुह्यन्ति कवयोऽपि न हि यस्य कर्हिचिद्राजन् पुमान् वेदविदित्सितम् यद्विजिज्ञासया युक्ता मुह्यन्ति कवयोऽपि न हि यस्य कर्हिचित् राजन् पुमान् वेदविदित्सितम् यद्विजिज्ञासया युक्ता मुह्यन्ति कवयोऽपि न हि यस्य कर्हिचित् राजन् पुमान् वेदविदित्सितम् यद्विजिज्ञासया युक्ता मुह्यन्ति कवयोऽपि न हि यस्य कर्हिचित् राजन् पुमान् वेदविदित्सितम् यद्विजिज्ञासया युक्ता मुह्यन्ति कवयोऽपि word to word meaning na never he certainly asya his karhichit whatsoever rajan o king puman anyone veda knows viditsitam plan yat which vijigyasaya with exhaustive inquiries yuktaha being engaged muhyanti bewildered kavayaha great philosophers api even he certainly. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki translation. O King, no one can know the plan of the Lord Shri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. Purport. The bewilderment of Maharaj Yudhishthir over his past sinful acts and the resultant sufferings, etc., is completely negated by the great authority Bhishma, one of the 12 authorized persons. Bhishma wanted to impress upon Maharaj Yudhishthir that since time immemorial, no one, including such demigods as Shiva and Brahma, could ascertain the real plan of the Lord. So, what can we understand about it? It is useless also to inquire about it. Even the exhaustive philosophical inquiries of sages cannot ascertain the plan of the Lord. The best policy is simply to abide by the orders of the Lord without argument. The sufferings of the Pandavas were never due to their past deeds. The Lord had to execute the plan of establishing the kingdom of virtue, and therefore his own devotees suffered temporarily in order to establish the conquest of virtue. Bhishmadev was certainly satisfied by seeing the triumph of virtue, and he was glad to see King Yudhishthir on the throne. although he himself fought against him. Even a great fighter like Bhishma could not win the battle of Kurukshetra because the Lord wanted to show that vice cannot conquer virtue, regardless of who tries to execute it. Bhishmadev was a great devotee of the Lord, but he chose to fight against the Pandavas by the will of the Lord, because the Lord wanted to show that a fighter like Bhishma cannot win on the wrong side. अमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च. श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगन ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले. So we had the good fortune of hearing His Grace Karnataka Prabhu few years back when I had the fortune of staying in Kunjiberi temple. So every week we would have discussion on each verse of passing away of Bhishma Dev and how I mean those would be spontaneous sessions. That's what I felt. So every week 1 hour on one verse, and it was exhaustive discussion. So a lot of substance came in through those discussions. So very grateful we got to hear from Prabhuji then. So here we see Bhishma Dev's plight. Bhishma Dev is lying on the bed of arrows, and we can only imagine or comprehend the kind of pain and agony that Bhishma Dev must be experiencing while being there. So I think Ajit Madhav Prabhu had given an elaborate discussion on how the situation was in Kurukshetra when Bhishma Dev was lying on the bed of arrows. So it's like 18 days of war, but 56 days he's lying there alone. No, he's the only living person there in that whole battlefield, and all around there are dead bodies, 64 crore. No, we can imagine the amount of scavengers that must have gathered around whole day and night. They are eating, and no, it's such a negative environment to be in. No, and Bhishma Dev is in such a situation, and he is meditating on the Lord, and we get to see that when he is in the Vishnu Sahasranam, when he is composing his prayers in glorification of Lord, spontaneous, and also when he is instructing the Pandavas here. So he is unaffected by the situation that is around. Goes to show Krishna wants to glorify his pure devotee. Though throughout his lifetime, he, at least if Bhagavatam was not there, it appears though many people speak of Bhishma as being a negative character. Always on the side of Kauravas in that sense. But here in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning that he acted from the side of Kauravas by the will of the Lord. So pure devotee, he is not worried about his image. He was pleasing Krishna by being on that side. So generally for a funeral rite, or maybe when you go to visit a patient, you don't go in a party wear, dressed royally and aaj party karenge. But Krishna is taking all the Pandavas dressed in their kingly attire, and that was a long cherished dream of Bhishma Dev throughout his lifespan, to see Yudhishthir Maharaj on the throne. And obviously it wasn't happening because of time and again the nefarious plans of Duryodhana. So Krishna knows what would please Bhishma Dev, even in such a painful situation of his, is lying on his deathbed. But still, what would please him is what Krishna is aware of, and that's how he takes all the Pandavas and Draupadi dressed in their kingly attire and then Yudhishthir Maharaj to ask his questions and inquiries. So on the Sunday class, Proji elaborately explained how Yudhishthir Maharaj's bewilderment was nothing else than plan of the Lord, because Lord wanted it. That's why he could not uh, understand, despite counsel from various personalities, including Pandavas, Draupadi, all the great sages. Vyasadev, he time and again comes in Mahabharata just to testify a situation, whether it's right or perfect. So, by will of the Lord, he was to understand only through Bhishmadev. And then Bhishmadev is trying to explain who Krishna is in the future verses. I will say, this person whom you think he is your cousin brother, or he is a friend of someone, or he is a counsel to someone, all these relations. But ideally, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but somehow, because he is amongst us, one amongst us, it appears though that he is like one amongst us, just ordinary like any of us, but he is not ordinary. So Mahajan like Bhishmadev is able to reveal the secrets which everyone else may not know, and that's what a Mahajan is. So this is just some. Apart from this, obviously there was some humiliation again. So even in that situation, when Draupadi came and she laughed when Krishna said that Bhishma is going to resolve all the queries and uh, all the lamentation that Yudhishthir Maharaj is facing. Only Bhishma can help him, get pacified. And he will be answering on various dharmas. He will be addressing queries of Yudhishthir Maharaj. And Draupadi laughs. And Bhishma knows why Draupadi laughs, because when she was getting disrobed, Bhishma was one of the prominent personalities. She had banked upon that Bhishma would, at least say something or do something about it. But nothing happened. And so Bhishma, it appears like, what is he going to speak now? No, he was sitting in the Asat Sabha like that. But he is ready to undergo all that thing as per the plan of the Lord. No, he's not a bit disturbed by all these situations around physically that we saw. And he's able to empathize with Yudhishthir Maharaj. He's able to see the grief of Yudhishthir Maharaj, and he's also able to see what all calamities they have undergone. In the verse on Sunday, we saw how they went through lot of injustices and lot of troubles like that. So there are some pastimes which while going through this verse and the purport which Prabhupada has mentioned, I just found some pastimes where various personalities, they tried to understand who Krishna is, and they were bewildered. Ultimately, as Prabhupada mentions in the purport, one just has to surrender to the Lord and serve Him, and that's how we can. That's how best we can understand Krishna, by surrendering to His will. So the famous pastime, is Brahma Vimohan Leela. How the Acharya and Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya. So even he could get bewildered by the will of the Lord. Where he's thinking, how come this small child is eating the remnants of his devotees? Madhumangal is eating buttermilk, and he is pressing his, and he's eating all the jhuta that comes. So he is bewildered. How can this person be Supreme Personality of Godhead? No doubt came, and he's playing with all this. How can Supreme Personality of Godhead play with cowherd boys? So to resolve the doubt, he does that whole elaborate the pastime of hiding all the cowherd boys and the cows, and Krishna reveals his supreme potency, thereby expanding into cowherd boys and cows, and everything goes on as if nothing happened. No, so it's such a humiliation for Brahma. No, Krishna is working out everything without anyone feeling. No, if anything happened over 1 year, rather we see, in the Krishna, that cartoon we saw how the cows and the cowherd boys, they were so very attractive that the gopis and the gopas, they felt no, unparalleled love for their child, and obviously all of them desired that Krishna should be my child, and Krishna fulfilled that desire there. uh, because in the purport specifically it mentions Lord Shiva and Brahma, even personalities of their caliber could get bewildered at times. So we see in the Mohini Murti pastime how Lord Shiva just some time back, uh, in the battle between uh, the Asuras and the Suras, when they wanted Lord Shiva to fight in the battle, Lord Shiva was in trance, and then Mother Parvati, who was a young girl then, she was sent to agitate Lord Shiva so that he can be disturbed uh, from his trance, and then he could be utilized in the battle. I mean, they could seek his help in the battle. So there he didn't get disturbed when she was touching his genitals. And here, by the will of the Lord, he started running behind Mohini Murti. And then eventually he doesn't feel humiliated for, what did this happen? All my listeners or all my August assembly, in front of them only I started running behind her. So he didn't feel a bit of humiliation. How come Lord? This kind of humiliation. So he rather saw it as glorification of Lord, that when Lord Krishna comes as Mohini Murti, no one could be parallel to Lord, even in terms of beauty, when he comes as Mohini Murti. Like that. Other famous pastime we see how in Govardhan Leela, Lord decided now, let's not worship Indra this time. We will worship Govardhan. So apparently it appears अभी बच्चा बोल रहा है तो ठीक है अभी गोवर्धन पूजा करते हैं. And all of them, all the Vrajvasis, they have such simple faith and devotion in Lord Krishna that all of them agreed. Nanda Maharaj is like the chief of all the cowherd men, and he agreed, and then all of them decided, let's have Govardhan Puja festival. And then we see how through the whole pastime, Indra created havoc in Vrindavan just because he was not getting his worship. And then Krishna proves how, again, Lord proves his supremacy there by lifting Govardhan for 7 days and 7 nights. And again, Indra is humiliated there. A few days back, we had Jayadev Goswami's disappearance day, and we know the famous composer of Geet Govind. So while he was writing this, he was composing this prayers. One place where he was writing about Krishna, he bows down at the feet of Radharani. So he got a doubt how this could be. Cowherd girls and Krishna. Is it that the cowherd girls and especially Radharani, she is superior to Krishna? He wasn't sure, so he didn't compose the verse, and he said, I'll look at it later. He went for his path, and then Krishna appeared there as Jayadev Goswami, and then he came, and then now while he left, he told his wife Padmavati that you can prepare prasad, I'll come and take. So you offer your bhoga. So instead of the deities here, Krishna is sitting, and then he took the offerings from his wife. And Krishna wrote the completed thought of. He didn't speak of it to anyone else. He wrote the verse there. I forgot, it was Yat Pada Pallavam Udaram, something like that. which means that Krishna bows down at the feet of the feet of Mother Radharani. And so Krishna wrote the verse there, and he took the accept the offerings from his wife, and then he left. When Jayadeva Goswami came back after his bath, he saw that the verse is there, and he was surprised. And when he asked his wife, she said that you no, you came and you wrote it, you took prasad also, you're again asking prasad. So then Jayadeva Goswami understood that Lord Krishna himself came, and he so by Lord's plan, the prayer came as it is, and even to till this date in Jagannath Puri, for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath, they sing the Git Govind prayers, especially the Shayan Arati for the Lord. Other place, Mother Parvati tried to test Lord Ram, when they were passing by the Dandakaranya forest. Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva. Mother Parvati was thinking, why is Lord Ram roaming like this? He is crying tears, he is asking the trees, he is asking the deers, the animals, he is asking, where is Mother Sita? Where is Mother Sita gone? Mother Parvati is like, is he really searching for Mother Sita? And Lord Shiva says, don't worry. Lord Shiva has full faith that he is just enacting the pastime. And Mother Parvati, she doesn't tell Lord Shiva, and she goes and she tries to test. So she takes form of Mother Sita, and she multiple times goes in front of Lord Ram, and Lord Ram is least affected by her presence. Ultimately, just to bewilder her all the more, finally Lord Ram says, "Oh Mother Parvati, what are you doing here? And where is Lord Shiva?" She is shocked. अभी तो रो रहे थे, अभी क्या हो गया? Just some time back he was crying in separation. He is in such pain. Where is Mother Sita? And then Lord Ram gives her darshan as along with his concert. Here is Mother Sita and here am I. And then again the scene changes to Lord Ram is again crying and kidhar gaye, where is Mother Sita? And of course Lord Shiva is sitting in one corner and observing everything in his, again you can see. So when Mother Sita, when Mother Parvati came there, so Lord Shiva said, "Ho gaya, did you test?" So she doesn't tell what happened, but Lord Shiva understands what happened. So here she tried to test Lord Ram, but then Lord Ram proved that that's just for the sake of pastime. He can't get bewildered like that. We see how pure devotees they agree upon to the plan of the Lord. We see in the life of Prabhupada. So the chapter is entitled Lifetime in Preparation in the first volume of Lilamrit. So he says 40 years of preparation. 1922 he got an instruction from a spiritual master. You preach in the English language this message of Lord Chaitanya and Bhagavad Dharma. 40 years he endeavored and tried various things, and so many failures. Jhansi was a big failure. He had planned everything. If you see a whole list of things that he wanted to do there, and that was his a master plan ready and everything, and then this wife of the governor came, Munshi, she came in and thwarted all the plans. This was just one example, but apart from this, so many instances where Prabhupada faced failures. And then Prabhupada is quoting the verse, Yasya manugrenami harishe tadhanam shana. It may appear that this is a bit audacious. He's telling, No, I am a great devotee, and Lord Krishna generally takes away everything from his great devotees. No, out of his humility, he happens to mention that he's able to see the plan of the Lord, how Lord is taking away everything one after another. His businesses are collapsing. He is endeavoring from his side to set things right, and his preaching work is collapsing. So many obstacles coming his way. But Prabhupada was least bewildered, and this is what we can understand when he's quoting Yasyam Anugriname Harishyad Dhanam Shanai. But after that, what he did is to see that this is out of his humility, how he depended on the mercy of the Lord to achieve innumerable feats in the next 10 years of his life. So, in his prayers on the Jalduta, he is mentioning, Ani अच्छो जदि प्रभु हमारे नचाते नचाओ नचाओ प्रभु नचाओ से मते काष्टेरे पुतली जाता नचाओ से मते. I am like a no, I am like a doll in your hands, and you can make me dance the way you want. I am a puppet, and we see how no, all the plans of the Lord ordained through all his endeavors that he took. So we see Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna to declare, no, Kaunteya pratijani name bhaktya pranashyati. Now he spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita. He could have himself declared it that no, my devotees never perish. But then we see here that so many times he has broken his vow. No, here he had decided, I will not lift the weapon. And Bhishma said that till the time Krishna is not lifting the weapon, I know that I will try and kill the Pandavas. So all the 5 arrows and those were taken by Arjuna. But after that also, the way he was fighting fiercely, it appeared though that now he is going to kill Arjuna. And that's where Krishna decided, now I need to break my vow. No, so it appears that he takes vows and then he breaks also. No, so not reliable, and that's why he says to Arjuna that you declare. No, because people will have faith, devotees will have faith in the future to come that my devotee is declaring, and obviously devotees, they don't break vows, so he will follow it perfectly. Because he is telling Lord will fulfill it, like that. So Bhishma had vowed to kill the Pandavas, and then Krishna lifted the weapon and he broke the vow. He was ready to kill Bhishma, and then Bhishma dropped all his weapons. Now he stopped fighting altogether. So we see that Lord for his devotees can even break his vow. No, he doesn't care for his image, or is not image conscious of what will people think about me when it comes to his devotees. Other place we see Prahlad Maharaj in his last life. This comes in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. So he was son of a Brahmana, just like Bilwa Mangal Thakur in his last life. So he was though son of a Brahmana, but then all sorts of addictions to wine, no, and prostitutes. He used to every day go to prostitute. One night, along with this prostitute, he had a fight, and they didn't eat for the whole day. And this happens to be Narsimha Chaturdashi in that Brahmakalpa, when Prahlad Maharaj in his last life as Vasudev Shyam was there. So just because it was Narsimha Chaturdashi, and because of their fight and they didn't eat for the whole day. So out of various activities that we do on Narsimha Chaturdashi or any other special occasions, especially when it comes to appearance of Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, or Lord Narsingadev, no, One of the activities that they did was fasting on that day, and so much credit just because of that one day of activity that he appeared as Prahlad Maharaj and got association of Narad Muni. Now, Narad Muni, how Krishna is fulfilling the words of so many personalities. No, Hiranyakashipu, he put certain conditions to Lord Brahma, and Lord Narsingadev had to make sure he kills Hiranyakashipu despite all that conditions that he placed. And then Narada Muni is saying when he took Kayadu to the ashram of to his ashram just to protect Prahlad Maharaj from the plight of Indra. Indra was to kill the mother and the child. And Narad Muni says that no, don't kill him. He is a pure devotee. He is not going to be a mini Hiranyakashipu or like that. So you don't have to worry. So based on Narad Muni's words, Indra decided not. The demigods decided not to kill Prahlad Maharaj. So much is the faith on the words of devotees. So this is one example, like Narad Muni is saying, and then Indra he gives up on killing. And so this Brahmana, despite all disqualifications, got his birth as Prahlad Maharaj. And even the prostitute, she happened to become a Apsara later, and she went back to spiritual world from there. So much benefit from one day of fasting. Okay, so I have few pastimes. I'll try to quickly cover. How as in contemporary times, how do we understand the plan of the Lord? So I was just going through some of the pastimes which His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj has mentioned in the Journey Within. The book was lying since long, but accidentally I happened to remember that there are some very interesting pastimes in relation to the verse today. So I just picked one. In the Journey Home book, in the start, as a child, so little Richard would ask his, the priest who was teaching him the prayers, the rabbi. So one of the thing he asked him was, how do I pray? What should be the quality of my prayers? So this is a small child asking his teacher, what should be the quality of my prayers? And this rabbi would answer. He answered that in the book of their Jewish tradition, the Talmud. I'll read it as it is. He says, it is taught that it is better to pray to God for the strength to overcome temptations, difficulties, and doubts in order to do His will, rather than to pray for Him to do our will. So what Lord Jesus Christ says, thy will be done. He says, even if we have temptations or difficulties, instead of asking for fulfillment of those, even while we ask for fulfillment of any of our plans, we rely on Lord to do His will rather than our will, so that He doesn't become the order supplier. One other pastime Maharaj mentions in the book is of the Muktinath plane crash, where devotees died in a plane accident in Nepal. So this was in the year, I think 2011 or somewhere around that time, where devotees had gone for a yatra to Nepal. And this is the the roughest place one can think of for a yatra. So they had a plane crash, and many, I'm not remembering the count, it was 7 or 11 devotees that left their bodies in the thing, in the whole incident. Now Maharaj was in the US, and when he got the news spread like wildfire everywhere. Maharaj is thinking that now there are so many, the population of Mumbai is in crores. Now, what could be the probability that our devotees would have left? But then when Maharaj got to know that 11 of our devotees, 7 of our devotees have left in the plane accident. Uh, so first, even before setting right the situation, Maharaj said that to alleviate the pain of the devotees was more important, no, the whole community. So then Maharaj arranged devotees in Chowpatty. They arranged for a glorification session, and all the devotees came together, and they were glorifying various activities and qualities of different devotees. Now Maharaj mentions about the Rasnagal, Tarani Mataji, how small girl, how she was very dear to the congregation. And so all the devotees, they came together and they started glorifying various services that these devotees rendered, and how various activities that they did and their qualities. And when all that sessions were happening, devotees were enlivened hearing how wonderfully these devotees had performed their devotional service. And when kind of things stabilized, and then Maharaj addressed the same section of somehow it was coincidental when I was trying to search for the pastime. Maharaj mentions the same verse there. It's very difficult to understand the plan of the Lord, he says. Big people, they get bewildered. But when we see through the explanations of the acharyas, like Prabhupada, when he is explaining the mood of the of these personalities like Bhishma Deva, how they see calamities, how they see adversities in the life, especially of devotees. So then Maharaj addressed devotees as to the same philosophy that we know, but then we get bewildered when situations come, that we are eternal soul, and this lifetime is just a speck on the eternal, an infinite line of multiple lifetimes. And the material world is anyways a temporary place, and situations could go worse than what we could even imagine. There is one more passage. I'll shortly explain. So last time Maharaj explains is of the title of the chapter is Varsha, and how when situations go worse, we aren't able to see things in the right perspective. So these devotees who were flourishing devotees in terms of their devotional service, in their preaching activities, Vishwarup Prabhu and his and Mataji Brajeshwari Mataji. So their daughter was feeling that I don't have a younger brother or a sister to play with, and it was almost 15 years. So she was aspiring that why can't I have? And finally, when things worked out, and before that, the mother had already gone through a painful experience of cancer, and then reviving through that the cancer experience. And after that, when she happened to have the fortune of becoming a mother again, it was really challenging. When the child was born, it was not speaking, it didn't cry, and then when they took the child to a natal intensive care unit, and then they realized some of the organs were not working. Some percentage of the brain itself wasn't there. So for a mother who is expecting a child to be in a certain way, and she would the dream would realize. It was such a challenge to see that it's like someone who could be brutal could be say it's just a couch potato, you can't do anything with it, no. But she was able to realize and see that this seems to be a plan of the Lord, no, that we, and Maharaj then obviously Maharaj explained that you have to see this as a special child of the Lord, and because uh, it is put in such a situation, it's harmless. No, there won't be any karma that it would not generate any karma, it would not harm anyone. So it's just that you need to serve this child, and no, Krishna will bless you through this whole endeavor. And that's what happened. Initially a painful experience, but then eventually Vishwarupa mentions that having this child was a blessing, because so many devotees coming and blessing the child. The child would become happy only when devotees are chanting, devotees are doing kirtans. It's no, her sister. She is an expert mimicry artist. No, when they were in Vrindavan, she would go and learn the mimicry of different sounds of various birds, and she's a very good singer. So all these things she utilized for service of the child. So she mentions that initially I felt I will enjoy with the child, but later on she realized that the child became an object of service for the whole family and for the whole community. Uh, so by the blessings of spiritual Vaishnavas, by the blessing of superiors, by the blessings of Guru, one can understand the plan of the Lord, or one can understand things in right perspective when things go haywire and we aren't able to understand what's right and what's wrong. So through these pastimes, we can see that. I'll just conclude with, I'll just read out one prayer which comes in the same book. So Maharaj was in Vrindavan, and one sadhu happened to come and give him a piece of paper. It was a very old piece of paper, and he gave it in his hand, and Maharaj read through the writing of the paper, and this was a prayer which he would practically read throughout his childhood when he was in Chicago. No? So this prayer by Saint Francis. So he says, "O Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is discord, harmony. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and dying that we are born to eternal life." So Maharaj mentions that this appears to be a Christian prayer, or a saint in the 12th century. He mentioned this, but he says this is exactly in line with the devotional principles that he learned once he came to Vrindavan. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.